Good morning and welcome to the presentation of the 2016 annual results for Groupe Gorgé. Please note the disclaimer on slide 2. I will now give the floor to Raphaël Gorgé, Chairman and CEO of Groupe Gorgé.
Good morning. I will first remind you of the breakdown of our businesses into two divisions. Firstly, Technology for Safety, comprising two lines of business. Smart Safety System, with our ECA subsidiary, specializing particularly in robotics and simulation, and our new division, Protection of High-Risk Installation, mainly for active and passive protection in hostile environments. And finally, 3D printing, which, as you know, has taken off significantly over the last few years. The 2016 financial year is a continuation of 2015, with significant growth in our businesses. In 2 years, our revenue has grown from 220 million to over 280 million. The financial year just ended was marked by several acquisitions in our different divisions, and also the merger of our protection in nuclear environment and industrial project and services activities within a single division, now called Protection of High-Risk Installation. Here are the main highlights of 2016 financial year. Firstly, in Smart Safety System, we carried out 2 acquisitions during the year: the Moric Design Office, a naval architect specializing in the defense sector, and the company ELTA, specializing in safety systems for the aeronautic industry. In the simulation sector, we sold 3 naval simulators in Asia for over 6 million and 6 new autonomous underwater vehicle UAV A-27 for the French UK program. In the protection of high-risk installation sector, we delivered a passive protection system for a major project in China, the Yamal GNL project. The subsidiary AI Group unfortunately continued to experience difficulties over this 2016 financial year. We believe that these difficulties are well on the way to being resolved, with an improvement expected for 2017. We also completed the Novarka project that contributes to the dismantling of Chernobyl nuclear power plant and consolidated the Portefeuille acquisition, the group's historical competitor in the French market. In the 3D printing area, the 2016 financial year was extremely important as it marked the end of the first development stage for this activity within the group. As announced, we have reached the low point in terms of profitability. We have completed the first significant stage in the company's structuring to provide it with the means to develop on a global level and deliver on its ambition of being present in all 3D printing markets. The recruitment and massive investment carried out in 2016 should gradually bear fruit in the coming years. The business saw strong growth with a 41% increase in revenue, both through the sale of machine and materials, and by capitalizing on the sale of 3D printed product. Over 600,000 items were printed for over 1,200 customers. I will now give the floor to Loïc Lebert, who will present the financial aspects of the 2016 financial year.
Thank you, Raphael. In 2016, the group's revenue amounted to 281.2 million euros, up 6.3%. Revenue grew in our 3 divisions: 2% for the protection of high-risk installations, 7% at Smart Safety Systems, and 42% in 3D printing. Several external growth transactions were carried out during the financial year. However, as ELTA and BE Moric were only consolidated from the end of November, their contribution to growth is not significant. This year, revenue is fairly balanced over the 2 half years, where generally it is strongly weighted to the second. The performance during the second half was, however, much better than the first, with EBITDA of 14.4 million euros during the second half year and 21.7 million euros for the full year, which is almost equivalent to 2015. Current operating margin during the second half was 4.7%, with 3.2% over the full year, which is lower than 2015. Operating income grew by over 58% to 11.6 million euros compared to 7.3 million euros in 2015. The group was penalized in 2015 by the relocation costs for the Smart Safety Systems division for 1.6 million euros. In 2016, on the other hand, we benefited from a badwill of 5.6 million euros due to the very favorable conditions of the ELTA acquisitions. The group's current operating income amounted to 9 million euros, or 3.2% of revenue. In 2016, the Smart Safety Systems division saw income growth of 0.5 million euros, whereas the new protection of high-risk installations saw an equivalent decline in a context of very slight revenue growth. The protection division was handicapped by poor performance in the nuclear sector, where revenue declined with the end of major contracts for new plants in China. The division should recover from 2017 with a more attractive business outlook in the nuclear sector, namely the development of local activity in France on existing plants and new projects in the United Kingdom and China. Current operating income for the 3D division is still negative at minus 8 million euros. The division has seen very strong growth. Its revenue increased from 17.8 million euros to 25.2 million euros between 2015 and 2016. The division has structured itself to meet this strong growth. The first half of 2016 was a low point in terms of performance. Excluding 3D printing, the group's current operating income grew by 5%. The group's net debt has increased from 37.8 million euros in 2015 to 49.5 million euros in 2016. This increase is mainly due to the increase in working capital requirements and the continuing sustained level of investment. The 14.4 million euros increase in the working capital requirements mainly concerns the Smart Safety System division with a share of 10.7 million euros. This growth at ECA is due to the growth in the business and, in a significant way, to the increase in tax receivables, research tax credit, and employment tax credit on the asset side of the balance sheet. Investments amounted to 11.8 million euros, including 2 million euros in leasing debt. The group has 40.7 million euros in cash and cash equivalents. Two credit lines, each for 10 million euros, were confirmed up to 2021 and 2022, with only 9 million drawn at the end of 2016. Lastly, the group still has an equity line, including 544,000 potential shares. The group is in a significant investment phase for its 3D printing division. Consequently, as for last year, the board of directors will propose to the shareholders' meeting not to distribute a dividend. Raphaël Gorgé will once take again the floor to present the group's outlook.
As Loïc has just indicated, the growth in the Smart Safety System division was noteworthy in 2016. For 2017, we will continue the ongoing developments, particularly in the area of cooperation between robots. We will also pay specific attention to the consolidation of ELTA, which will join our ECA Aerospace division. For our Protection of High-Risk Installation division, 2017 will be marked by a certain number of elements. The recovery underway at the AI Group subsidiary should bear fruit and have a positive impact on the group's overall result. We expect a possible change in fire protection regulation, particularly in retirement homes, which could create a significant additional demand. Lastly, in the nuclear sector, we will continue to be positioned in the EPR market in the United Kingdom, with the Hinkley Point site, which represents a major challenge for the group in 2017. As I indicated previously, we completed the structuring of the company and the 3D printing division at the end of 2016. We believe that it is now possible to move to a new, more ambitious stage, and this is why we have announced our intention to envisage an IPO for this division, the listing of Prodways Group during the 2017 financial year. This ambitious financial operation will provide the resources for this business to continue and accelerate its growth, both in R&D, with a number of promising directions, and also through external growth and the development of new activities. For the machine and material sales activity, we will broaden the range that we offer, particularly with the aim of penetrating the market for machines under 100,000 euro, which represent a potential 3 times higher than the market we currently target. And in the area of product, we will develop a number of applications, particularly in the healthcare, and more specifically in orthotics and dental sector, which are likely to be revolutionized by the use of 3D printing in the coming years. I thank you for your attention and invite you to follow the publication of our first quarter revenue figures on 25 April.